Oh, hey guys, welcome to the live. So we're a few minutes late on there. Charmaine's in the house, and uh, yeah, so welcome to this live again. You guys, for anyone that was watching a live last night, I deleted that because it wasn't. It was a hot mess. I muted myself at the beginning of it for about 10 minutes as I was spewing all these beautiful haikus and love things and stuff like that, and then I don't like to put out misinformation either properly, so I just deleted it. So before we get started, I mean, if you guys see the poll, it literally says that this was a messenger chat only. That Charmaine, I was working on the tribute awareness video. Charmaine was talking with Daniel. Okay, you'll see receipts. Don't worry about that. Um, so, anyways, first and foremost, want to thank Belynda. Want to thank Daniel. Want to thank Chelsea and Daphne. These are the family members that are speaking out or have spoken out in a sense or have communicated with me. Okay. So I want to make sure that we're as respectful as possible to the information that goes out there. We're a channel that simply likes truth and facts. That's it. We're not into the drama. We're not into trying to put out false information. We can speculate, talk about the case and stuff like that, but that's separate. But other than that, we're just from the bottom of our hearts, genuine, and we're just truthologists, simple as that. Okay, so we're not here to try to do any harm to any of the family members at all. Just saying that. So be respectful of that. Mods, please, if anyone is being rude or ignorant to this channel or in chat, just to boot them, okay? Because they're not worth the time of day if people are going to be like that. Okay, this is a respectful channel that you guys have to, act like adults, be adults, and be kind in your comments. Like, you can say things, but be kind. Don't be ignorant, okay? Other than that, I want to give a shout out, first of all, to Brenda. Brenda, she had sent me an email, and this is her right here, actually. So I gave her a shout out in the live yesterday, but because I deleted it, I want to do it again. I always believe in paying it forward. I lived my life around that whole motto. And when that movie came out, for anyone that's old enough to obviously remember that movie, it meant a lot to me. People to be kinder, nicer, pay it forward, be unselfish, be kind, be caring, right? Be honest, be true, be yourself, all that stuff. But anyways, so she had sent me $100 yesterday. Told her, look, don't have to at all, okay? We don't promote money on this channel as asking for no donations. If people donate through a live and stuff like that, that's totally up to them. If they want to, for all the hours that we do and stuff like that, or really like us, or hate me and like Charmaine more, I don't know. But at the end of the day, this channel isn't about promoting itself that way. It's about the awareness of the missing and the murdered. It's that simple. So please, we can ask you if you could please give a like and a share. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't. That part doesn't matter. But the like and the share matters when it comes to the missing and the murdered. So just hi, everyone. You're welcome. No, thank you. Thank you. That was very generous of you to do that. And no obligation whatsoever. Sharon Parker bought tacos. People have been kind. But again, we don't sit there and promote that people, here, get on the freaking payday train, stuff like that. Channel's never about money. Okay. Now, with that being said, thanks for your money, Frank. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for the gifted membership. And guess what? Paul got that. So, Paul, now you can use the emojis. You guys know that there is the emoji. And I'll just actually quickly find it. And then we're going to go over to Charmaine in a second as well. Okay. And we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about a few things with Dylan Ehler and Sebastian Rogers, of course, before we truly get into it. Okay. So we're just going to do what we do before we get in. Oh, and then I'll be showing the tribute awareness video for Lily and Jack. So, Charmaine, what am I looking for? I got so many screenshots. I know what I'm looking for. Hold on. Okay, this right here. Okay. So this is the emoji that you guys that are members can use in the chat. This one is for Jack and Lily. You guys know there's one for Sebastian as well on there. But anyway, so that's for your members. Spam those out. Always giving love to the missing and the murdered. But in this case, Sebastian and Lily are deemed as missing. Okay. Okay. So thank you guys. Like I said, if chat gets a little bit too much, not going to lie, I got lots of stuff that I have to do behind the scenes. So I do apologize because we kind of got to get into it. I believe karma's like a boomerang, comes back and bites you in the ass. You'd be good. It's my thing is this: what you put out to the universe and it comes back, either good or bad. But if it comes back because you did something bad to the universe, if it comes back and boomerangs you back in the butt, so be it. You deserved it. Same thing if I did. But we always try to do, like, at least, most people, I would think, try to be good and do good things. So anyways, Charmaine, I'll let you get on with the disclaimer or whatever you want to call it, in a sense, as I'm just going to show people's things at the bottom.
Okay, so hi everybody. Really quickly about me, I have a little side story that I want to tell just to kind of illustrate who I am and how I am and how this whole thing has kind of affected me here today. I do have a podcast. It's true crime story podcast, and my reasons for starting a true crime podcast are not like anybody else's probably on the planet. And I'm not going to get into why. But anyways, 2 years ago, we did an episode on Kalia Guyton. And she was a 2-year-old little girl. It was a horrific story. It was terrible. And I'm really, really focused, and I get anxious to make sure that we have facts and we don't want to put out false information. So we did the episode. It was released. It did really well. And then one day we get an email from somebody claiming to be a person mentioned in the episode who is directly related to that case. And I had a panic attack, a total anxiety attack, because I thought I got something wrong. I thought I offended this woman. I was beside myself. And I didn't know what to do. And my daughter, who is a journalist, I asked her, what do I do? What do I do? She said, well, email her back, talk to her. And it mortified me. The thought of having to talk to somebody mortified me. I have no desire to be that investigative journalist. I want to tell stories. Usually my podcast is cases that have already happened. So anyways, I ended up talking to her. I ended up interviewing her. Most awkward thing I've ever done in my entire life, because I feel like it's intrusive. I don't want to intrude on somebody else's trauma or grief or what they're experiencing. Even though I want to understand it and I wish there was something I could do to help, I don't want to be intrusive. And Sunny is more like my daughter, whereas she's empathetic, she is caring, she's nurturing, and all of that, just like me. But she wants answers, and she has no problem reaching out to get those answers. So as lucky as I feel that Daniel talked to me today, it wasn't my intention to have an interview with this man. I reached out to him to simply tell him that my heart goes out to him and that I was watching and admiring the strength that he had to continue on talking to the media with everything that everybody's been doing and saying about him. That was the gist of what I had said to him, and I wasn't expecting a reply. And he did. So, having said all that, I talked to Daniel for most of the day today. There's a lot of information that he shared with me. Some of it he doesn't want made public. Most of it he was okay with me talking about. But honestly, some of it I'm not comfortable talking about. But we're going to tell you and show you everything that we can. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care what anybody thinks. I believe him. I'm not naive. I am 51 years old. I've been through it. I have had a fair amount of shit happen in my life with people and men and divorce and all the rest of it. I've been through it, and I'm not naive, and I'm not an idiot, and I truly believe Daniel. I do. So with that said, if you guys don't believe him, that's fine. But just, he's probably watching your comments. If you're going to be ignorant, go do it somewhere else. Just don't do it here.
Yeah, please be respectful, guys. Okay. So in saying that, yes, I'm like, yeah, you should be talking to me. I'm the talker.
I was telling Sonny, like, I hate this shit. Like, I feel like I shouldn't even be asking this stuff. Like, this
You
isn't
know,
me. This isn't me.
the only reason, like I said, I don't really reach out to a lot of people because I do not like to invade, like you said. But, I always want the truth out there. And the truth is always from the horse's mouth, right? Now, it doesn't mean that it's always factual in the cases, but I just like the actual information. None of this games, none of this drama, none of this adding bullshit where it doesn't belong and stuff like that. Because, I mean, we know from the Delphi case, just the diarrhea that literally ends up, and it really explodes people's minds, when they're hearing a bunch of misinformation. So this channel doesn't do that. Other channels, I mean, they do what they do on their channel regardless, right? We don't have control over that. You might not like it because, again, people do things for whatever reasons, and, it's their channel, bottom line. But here, we can control what we do. And it's always about the missing and the murdered and stuff like that. So I want to say that, again, thank you, Daniel, if you are watching. Thank you so much for talking to Charmaine. And Belynda, thank you so much for talking with me. Again, Belynda, she didn't add me for over a week, but when she realized that I was like probably like sincere, because I was like, tagging, because she kept putting up Lily stuff, because I would check to see what family members are kind of like posting stuff, right? Because I just feel like that if your family and your, nieces, nephews, whatever, whoever, whatever family, should use their social media as an outlet, like, I mean, I just can't see it any other way, to be honest with you on that one. But each to their own. So at the end of the day, just from the bottom of our hearts, honestly, this isn't about ego, guys, at all. Nothing to do with that. This is simply about just trying to put out the facts of a case out there, and you want to bring awareness. The most important thing to do, like what Daniel has been doing, and Charmaine, and we know from the start that, we totally absolutely wanted to believe Daniel. We kept saying we did. But the only thing that kept holding us back was Malaya's interview because it was so different. It was just off is what it was. But anyways, absolutely 100% believe him. I wanted to the whole time. I saw his Pokemon channel, listened to his voice, listened to his words. There was a couple things that I questioned on things that he said. But honestly, I didn't feel this controlling person. So like, again, if he's watching, he can go back and watch the lives where we've even talked about this. But I just didn't feel like he was a controlling person at all. I just seemed like he was like actually nice, right? But people want to run with their own narratives, and you just got to go by your gut feeling. And that's all you guys can do yourself at the end of the day. So again, thank everyone.
Sorry, just one more thing I wanted to say. Everything that I'm going to share with you, and like I said, I'm not naive. This is Daniel's perspective, right? This is where he's at right now, and we totally understand there are always two sides. And in this case, there's probably more than two sides, to be perfectly honest with you. But he did say, when I asked him if like what I'm allowed to talk about, like what is he comfortable with, and after he told me, he said, just please go through everything and use your best judgment, and just understand that, this is going to live on, and my kids are going to see this. They could see this one day. They're going to know that this happened, and this is my life, and I have to continue living it. So with that said, Sonny, carry on.
Because I was going to say, like, even Belynda, there's some things that she said I could say. There was a few things, and I didn't. Why? We know the internet too well, okay? We know what happens when it comes out. We know that the trolls come out, people message people's Facebooks and stuff like that. Well, anyways, we're not naive whatsoever to that stuff. So there's just certain information sometimes doesn't need to be said because it's not of value. Well, it's of value maybe to, for Belynda's sake, her own family. But to the public, sometimes they just don't need to know everything, and I respect that on
That's
there.
right.
So again, we're going to get into it, guys, here, but we're going to be talking about let's see, we'll do Sebastian. So please hit that like and the share, okay? I'm going to be watching you guys, all right? Please hit that like and the share. This will be a good live, okay? Not like the other ones were shitty, but I'm just saying. Okay, so let's take a look. How many? Okay, we have 108 likes, but 330 people, 33 watching, and 2 are from Twitter. Hi, Twitter. Thank you, 2 people from Twitter. Okay, I'm sorry if I haven't gotten all down to it. Again, please use the emojis if you're a member for Jack and Lily, and thank you, guys. Sorry if I'm going through these kind of fast now, but I got to work at 6 a.m. in the morning. So I don't want this to be one of my long, drawn out ones where I just am bored and want to keep chatting. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, we'll come back to stuff later. Okay, guys?
No,
Okay.
Angie, okay. Daniel talked to me over Messenger. There is no live interview. Nobody in the family is going to do any live interviews. It's an ongoing investigation in Canada. It doesn't happen.
Did some of you guys not look at the poll that I literally put, that this, just because we don't like to be deceptive at all, right? We're not here to play games. So I literally put in the poll that this was a messenger conversation only. So if you didn't look at it, that's because you didn't care enough to look at it. So that's what was better. So I'm just going to put that out there now, because again, we're not here to play games and try to pretend that it's something that it's not. It was through messenger only. Simple as that. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, so let's quickly get into this now. We'll talk about Sebastian quickly. Sebastian disappeared February 25th of 2024. He's 15 years old at the time of the disappearance, 16 years old now. It's been over 15 months that Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Hendersonville home in, of course, Tennessee. It's a mysterious case. It's kind of somewhat similar to a little bit, but it's one of those things that it's like Houdini, right? He just hopped on a magic carpet, I guess, and just somehow disappeared. But we know that that's not the case. Again, is there any parent involvement? Is it an abduction? Is it that he left on his own and just suddenly just disappeared? The circumstances of this case are very odd. An autistic child likes routine. And so for him, as the mother says, to not wear his shoes and leave out that front door and lock it. So he was with his biological mother that he lives with and the stepfather, okay? Everything that goes against what an autistic child would do, suddenly he did. So it's, again, there's nobody been charged. They don't know. There's all this digital camera footage, Ring doorbell cameras, and guess what? Absolutely zilch. Dog the Bounty Hunter has attached himself to this case by his name only, not as actually searching as people that are working with him that way, that kind of keep him up to speed, and it's to bring awareness to the case. So usually rewards for the most part don't mean shit, to be honest with you. Let's just be clear about that, okay? Because this case has well over, it's even higher than this. And guess what? Nobody's claiming it. Same with Delphi case, over $300 and something thousand. Guess what? Nobody claimed it. That's why Canada, where we live, and by the way, me and Charmaine, we're out of British Columbia. I've lived in Alberta half my life. Same with Charmaine. Now she should be heading there tomorrow. But I'm out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Charmaine's up in the Shuswap area at the moment till tomorrow. And this case is out of Nova Scotia on the East Coast side, okay? So again, we cover cases, whether they're Canadian or whether they're across the pond or United States. It's whatever gravitates to my heart is what I decide. I'm, not because I don't care about other cases. Bottom line is, I don't like to spread myself wide. I like to focus on a case or 2 max at a time, and that's it, right? And it's because this channel isn't built, it's not built around, well, how many subscribers can I possibly get? Does subscribers build awareness? Absolutely. That's all I care about, to be honest with you, is the awareness that we can do by hitting that like, hitting that share, talking about cases, keeping them out there for the family. So that's Sebastian Rogers' case. If you're interested, I got a ton of videos that I've covered. Again, Melissa has done a huge PDF file on the interviews and everything like that. I did a small one earlier on in the case. She did a huge one. But I don't have that link with me at the second. Now, onto Dylan Ehler. So there was a search yesterday and today. And so, or hold on, today and no. I thought this month had 30 freaking days in it, not 31. I'm going to mess with my mind on that one. Anyways, Dylan Ehler disappeared in 2020 from his grandmother's care. She was apparently tying up the dog and turns around, according to the grandmother, and is gone. They find a boot. And that's what's sad about this case, is that we're talking about little puddle jumper boots. Found a boot. At one point, the father basically said that area was searched, but there was no boot there at the time. Then whatever it was, a couple hours later, they find another boot a little further down the river there. But anyways, the family just wants answers. They want to know what happened to Dylan Ehler. And in this case, I haven't looked myself, you guys, but I do will show this. Give me a second. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to share screen, but I got to find it first. Okay, so Jason Ehler is the father. Present. And apparently they found something, maybe a couple things. I'm not really sure exactly. I've been working on Jack and Lily's tribute video all day, and just that, a 2-minute video or 2.5-minute video literally took me 6 hours, by the time you just do everything. But anyways, so I think it's this one here. Okay. So, I'm honestly, there's a bunch of videos that he has on his Facebook page. I'll share his Facebook page, because obviously this is about awareness for the child. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm simply going to share it, because I haven't had time, besides me playing each of the videos, to figure out exactly what happened. Honestly, I just don't have that time right now. But I'm so glad if they found any clues to Dylan Ehler. That's what matters. Okay, that's exactly what matters, is that people cared enough to show up, that a mother and a father are just looking for the truth. I can't say this enough, and I think you guys would agree. The most torturous thing in this world, deception detective, defective detective, you've been telling not so great stuff lately, but I love you still anyways, regardless, on there. But anyways, so as long as, like I said, we put out the truth and talk about and do it for the families, always first and foremost, and stuff like that. I lost my train of thought because of you, deception detective. I was literally had something else to say, and I totally lost my brain thought because I got out of focus and I've been busy all day. But anyways, so with that being said, you guys go check out Jason Ehler's all the posting, and just prayers that I know what I was saying. I remembered my thought. Okay. So the worst thing that any family member could ever do, okay, Sebastian Rogers, right, for Seth Rogers, his dad is diligently looking for him, is the fact that every day he wakes up with a hole in his heart. That has to be the biggest hole ever, when you literally have no answers, no closure, no answers. I couldn't even imagine that type of pain to wake up to every single day. Okay. So my heart goes out to all these family members, and, that cases that we cover and the ones that we don't cover. My heart totally goes out to them for the pain of just not knowing. Some people might go a lifetime, and pass on. And then others, like John Benet Ramsey. What happened to John Benet Ramsey? That case bugs me to no end, to be honest with you. I really wish that they would figure out what happened to John Benet Ramsey before I'm dead. to be honest with you. But anyways, okay, so we'll take that down. Again, we're here to talk about Jack and Lily. They disappeared on May 2nd, and today is May 31st. 2 days marks, literally a month. Yesterday marked a week. So I'll go to the post that, thank you, Kent, by the way. I hate it when I'm running behind and stuff like that. And that's what I was doing today as usual. Okay, so I'm just going to share it this way, just because it's just easier for me, to be honest with you. Okay, so this was out by the Truro and Colchester Code of Coverage posts from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Nova Scotia. Ground searches continue in Pictou County in support of the ongoing missing persons investigation. May 31st, 2025, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. Ground search efforts were underway today and are planned for tomorrow, June 1st. Yeah, there we go. In the area of Gairloch Road, Lansdowne Station, as the missing persons investigations into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. More than 75 trained searchers from the ground search and rescue organizations, including Colchester County, Pictou County, East Hants, Halifax, Strait Area, Spring Hill, and Pugwash, was engaged in today's effort to advance the ongoing investigation and to locate Lily and Jack. Searchers focused on specific areas around Gairloch Road and the nearby pipeline where a boot print was previously located. We continue to ask the public to avoid the search areas that are to allow the trained searchers to do their work. Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. And of course, let's see. In the video, you can see. Okay, so just you guys can go there, whatever, and they just basically are showing the drone going up, in Colchester ground and rescue on there. See, so right here you can see Chelsea Gray. That is Belynda's daughter, and I know that Belynda would be down here somewhere in the comments as well. So hopefully, Deception Detective, I actually don't know what your real name is, but hopefully you can realize by chance that Daphne and Sullivan, I'm the one that actually did that live with all that information that Charmaine sent me from the Facebook group, and it was first announced on CBA. So Daphne Ann Sullivan is the great aunt of Lily and Jack. Belynda is the paternal grandmother, of course, and her son is the paternal father of Jack and Lily. Chelsea Gray, that was commenting in here the other day, of course, is the, and that's to all channels, to be honest. All we want to do is give you guys the facts. If families talking and stuff like that, that's all we simply want out there, right? Not a bunch of rumors and speculations or this or that. Because like I said, when you have a bigger channel, right, people listen and then they start believing it. And then they'll come over here basically calling us the liars and stuff like that. And the bottom line is, right, we just want to do our due diligence. It's simple as that. And so anyways, so again, thank you, Daniel, for reaching out, Belynda, Chelsea, Daphne for speaking out. We appreciate it. It's so important that family members, honestly, that do speak out, they keep awareness to the case. Why? Because it's their, like I said, grandbabies, their niece, their nephew, and stuff like that. Anyways, okay. Next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I made a tribute awareness video for Lily and Jack. I'll probably take off the this right now and just hide it, just so I can play it for you guys on there. So it's again. I'll put it out single as well. So you guys, whoever wants to share it as well, then that would be amazing, of course, for these children and for the families, so that, just for anyone to bring awareness. Simple as that. Okay, guys? So let me just quickly grab it. Share screen. No, I don't want to share screen. I want to present a video. That's what I want to do. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so it's about 2 minutes and 37 seconds long. Okay, so anyways, this is for the family. This is from my heart to yours. Regardless, I do tribute videos for other missing persons. It's one of the things that I enjoy doing, just to spread awareness and do it because it means something to me. And with that being said,
A little girl and a boy went missing one day. It was on Friday morning, the 2nd of May. People went searching in the woods there outside for 2 little children named Lily and Jack. The girl was just 6 years, the boy he was 4. While others were sleeping, they walked out the door. As time it went by and turned into day, no sign of those children, the news it did say. Where's Lily and Jack? Where can they be? So sad and heartbreaking for each family. Not a trace or a sound from Lily or Jack, who walked out the door and they never came back. Lansdowne Station, it was their home. In Nova Scotia, there they did roam. Let's not forget them and let us pray for the 2 little children still missing today. Where's Lily and Jack? Where can they be? So sad and heartbreaking for each family. Not a trace or a sound from Lily or Jack, who walked out the door and they never came back. Who walked out the door and they never came back.
Okay, my bad. Anyways, so I hope you guys like that. I just wanted it to be like cute. It's about Lily and Jack, the kids, and just, you know, please, just again, please share, please like, you know, put out the information. And that song was that one that Charmaine had sent me from somebody on Facebook that had sung the song. So I had actually sent it to him on his post of that song, and I said, love from It's a Crime and Shame, because it's for someone to take their time to do something like that means that they deeply care. They care about these children that aren't just like we do, and you guys, right? You care about these children as if they're your own, but they're not your own, but they feel like it, because your heart is just saddened by these cases. Like I said, children, you don't F with children, okay, at all. You don't mess with the cases, you know? You try to do your due diligence. But children, they're never to be used and abused. They're children. They're innocent. There are gifts that are given to us. So anything to do with children, yeah, it ticks me off, you know, for sure. When people, again, don't, you know, they troll, they come, try to, you know, put out false information about it. Like when I say false information, yes, false information, but I'm especially talking to those ones that literally make up shit. Literally just make up shit to get their 5 minutes, 10 minutes of fame, you know, out there. And they'll put out false information on purpose because they're sick and they're twisted individuals. How could you ever do that? Sebastian Rogers case, the stepfather, what a joke. Okay. That guy does lives and all he cares about is his ego and his narcissistic personality. And what does he do? He plays games. He lies. He sits there and says he took a polygraph test, right? Had the receipts and everything, right? He just goes on to defend himself. How come his mother and the stepfather are out, you know, preaching for their, you know, son to come back home? Why is Seth Rogers just vocally always out there? That's what I see Daniel doing. And like I said, so Daniel, we've always leaned towards it. We always wanted to believe him, but we just obviously weren't sure because we didn't really know a lot of things. But, knowing that he passed his polygraph test, that just really sealed the deal for us. And then you having the conversation, with him today and stuff like that. Bottom line is, thank you. Thank you for keeping these children that mean a lot out to you, So that's all I'm going to say about that part of it. Just children. Guys, you don't mess with children stuff. Anyways, we are Canadian. We're all Canadian. But anyways, Charmaine, I am now ready for you. Thank you, guys.
So please keep in mind, I've never done this before. There are some messages that I will read to you because they're longer messages, and some are more than likely the ones that I'm not comfortable sharing. But some of it I am, so I'll read those ones. But there's other screenshots that I will send to Sunny to post. But be patient with me. I've never done this before, and like I told you all in the beginning, this isn't my purpose. I'm on YouTube for Sunny. I had no desire to ever be here, but Sunny is one of my best friends, so I am here. My podcast was started for a reason that has nothing to do with anything that anybody else has ever started a podcast for. But so I've shared something with Sunny, and that's how I've decided I want to start this off. You want to present it?
Yeah.
How we do this?
Okay. Next stage.
So into our conversation, of course, I was catching myself. I thought I was being insensitive. I asked him on the off chance that Mihaela or anybody who knows her might be watching, was there a message that he wanted to get out to her because he's not able to contact her. And how it went down that day is in a way that I don't think we've ever heard before, but we're going to hear it today. But Daniel wanted her to know, I love her more than anything. That will never change. I'm waiting for that chance to relive our first date over waterfalls and a walk on Big Island Beach with the Daniel you first met. She will understand what that means.
Perfect.
So, I mean,
how sweet.
If you know her, try to get the message to her, because from what I can tell, it wasn't a breakup like a breakup. There wasn't an argument. There wasn't a blowout. There wasn't a bunch of accusations being tossed. It wasn't like that that day.
Okay, so thank you.
All he wants her more than anything.
Okay, so just to confirm that, Charmaine, because I really haven't had time to read the postings and stuff like that on that. So, and I know you're going to be showing them, but so that's to say that on that day that people are saying that there was this big blowout, that this didn't happen, correct?
Correct. And the bit about CPS is also not accurate at all.
Okay.
So, and that was something that I was on board with, because I thought that makes sense, because personal experience, whatever, if CPS tells you to do something, you do it. But apparently that day they had it all set up so that Meadow was going to go with Daniel's cousin, but Mihaela had a conversation with her mother, and after talking with her mother for 5 minutes, she basically got in the car with her mom and baby and left, and Daniel hasn't seen or heard from her since. So something that her mom said to her caused her to make this split decision, because he said up to 5 minutes before she left, the plan was Meadow was going with Daniel's cousin, and they were going to continue searching.
Okay.
So do you want me to share that one if I can find it?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, just be patient, okay? Because normally I have the screenshots and I'm the one that usually shows them, but in this case, like I said, I was working on the tribute video. Charmaine's the one that was talking to Daniel, and so I just said, why don't you just bring them up and I'll just show them. So bear with us.
Can I do like more than one at a time? Like, can I just keep sharing them and then tell you which ones to put up?
Say that again. Sorry, Charmaine.
Like, I'm gonna try something here. There's one part one there, and then their part two. I'm gonna see if I can do that, and then you can just bring them up as they're done
So
being read.
the one that you just put up there now, can I show that one?
Yeah, 3.1 and then 3.2. So he says, I only wish I could tell you the fine details surrounding Malaya, and her family and the disappearance. I'll let you know that Malaya was set to stay with me and have the baby leave with my cousin, but can change to the next one.
No, you didn't give me a next one yet.
This
is the you have to see. I think you can only do one at a time, Charmaine.
Okay. So how do I, because it's here.
Yeah.
Okay, I removed it.
Oh, unless it's, hold on. I lied, Charmaine. Well, no, it's not there. Maybe you did you take it down? Because it could have went below. Yeah, it probably was below, but it was out of my eyesight. That's why.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
No,
I wish I would have sent these to Sunny first.
Don't be sorry.
Okay. Should be there now.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So he said, but 5 minutes into the conversation, 5 minutes alone with her mom, after the first search briefing, Malaya completely changed. She couldn't even look at me. An hour before this, Malaya told the RCMP she felt the happiest and safest with me. It was a different Malaya.
That I can absolutely agree with, because from what we know from the public, it was like, so 1 minute they're telling a story to get about togetherness, right? And then all of a sudden this big change happens, and we've been trying to speculate on what that big change kind of was, because how you're talking about, waking up in the morning and everything seems to be fine. And then all of a sudden Malaya leaves that day, So appreciate, some clearing up on that. Absolutely. Right. You guys want, again, remember, it's Daniel's truth. I can tell by what I've seen though already in different posts. Okay. That Charmaine has shared. Right. He's a truthologist. He's very much a truthologist. And he basically has said that, like, I'm not here to sugarcoat things. There's stuff that we're not going to show, of course, because that's just out of respect. But I can tell he's a truthologist. And that's what I am too. When somebody's a truthologist, sometimes you just wear your heart on your sleeve and you just, tell it like it is. Simple as that. So I appreciate that. And you guys don't have to believe that. Not here to convince you, but we're just trying to do, again, the best for the case. So either you can believe this information or not. It's totally up to you. But, I believe them. Simple as that. Okay. You got another?
Okay, so 5 and 6 are down below if you want to put up 5 first.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Whoops. I almost kicked you. I almost said kick guest. I was like, wait, what?
I wouldn't fight you on it. There's like a million places I'd rather be right now. But this is important, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Charmaine, you know you love me. What is this?
I totally do, and that's why I'm here. You're welcome.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you're the one that has to take them down. I was like, why can't I take these posts down? You have to take them down. So,
okay.
So which one's next here? What's this one? Okay, but I love her more than anything.
That's the first one.
Okay.
So for everybody out there that keeps saying, because they're not married, that he's not really their stepdad, and I don't understand that mentality, because this was the only dad that these kids knew. Lily and Jack called me dad and came for me for everything, never Malaya. She had no control over the kids. They were wild with her. And with me, they listened and were well behaved. I promised myself I'd always be there for Malaya and the kids, and I'm holding that promise. That the biological dad has been out of the picture for so long, and these kids are so young that this is the only dad they know. They called him dad. That was their dad. Come on, or that is their dad. I apologize. Oh my God, I apologize.
I'm just Belynda's saying that she absolutely loved the tribute video. That the tribute, I want to use her words. She said the tribute video was beautiful. Thank you, Belynda. Thank you. You know, they mean a lot to me. I love doing them. You know, like I said, it's my way of doing it. It's my way of putting something that I like to do and say, this is from me, you know, to the family. If they see it, in this case, obviously, Belynda would see it, and their daughter and whoever else, perhaps Daniel as well. But it's just my way of doing something. So thank you, Belynda. Okay, go on. Go on with your bad self.
And he's not trying to be negative towards Malaya at all. She was going through the postpartum and the depression, like we talked about before, and we've talked about here before.
Yeah.
But I never lie because that's just not me. I say the truth, even if it hurts. I'm sorry to say, but I live in reality, and reality is what it is.
Reality. Truthologist. I love it. I love that. That's exactly when I knew. Again, you guys, for anyone that doesn't know me whatsoever, I've always, since I was a kid, had very much instincts when it comes to people. Like, it was like, I didn't realize when I was a child that it was like a gift, that I could really just tell a person. Like, I'm talking when I was like, you know, young, like 7, 8 years old. And I'd always sit there and say something, and it always came true. And I was like, damn, I'm good at this stuff. I kept saying that to myself as I got older. I kept going, you know, pat yourself on the back. You know, didn't ever think of it like a gift or anything like that. I just thought it was normal. And then I realized as I got older that some people just really have deep intuition, have a deep empath, beyond belief, probably a little too much sometimes, but whatever. It is what it is, and I like who I am as a person that way. But it was, so I can smell shit a mile away. And when Daniel was speaking, again, it's like, I wanted to believe him each time. I didn't see this person, in a sense, but Malaya's video, her interview, with the only one she did, was quite different. It was weird. It was strange. Weird words were used on that. You guys know full well. It's not like it's a deep dark secret here, right? I tell Daniel, you know, stuff like that. But anyways, so when I saw him say this, you know, I just say the truth, even if it hurts. Truthologist. Anybody else that, you know, is a deep empath or reads people well, you know? So I've always had that kind of gift, you know? Am I perfect? No, only 99.999% of the time I can call somebody out. Sometimes I miss the odd little one, but it's not often. I can smell people that do things for alternative reasons. Whether you're a YouTube creator, I can smell you a mile away. You cannot fool me with your crap, okay? And so that's why for me, it's just like an instant. You just know, right? But anyways, enough talking about myself on that one.
There's a small portion that I don't think is necessary to put up, but what Daniel did have to say about Malaya's interview was that her wording was not the typical wording that Malaya would use in a conversation. It really struck him that she referred to him as her partner, Daniel.
Right.
He thought that was very odd too, and he said to me, there are things that I still don't understand. Like he's just as clueless as the rest of us when it comes to certain things.
I mean, that was strange, right? Because she was like, you know, and I tell Daniel, did you hear the kids? First of all, and I didn't ask Daniel, I tell Daniel. And then she goes into this, you know, Daniel, my partner, or however she said it. But it was just, I mean, the whole interview was strange, okay? Start to finish, it was just strange. There was weird words being used. It was just odd, the whole thing. We know it. And so, yeah, so for him to say that too, you know, especially call him the partner. So wait, all of a sudden he's your partner, you know, instead of your better half or worse half or whatever. But you know what I'm saying.
But in that situation, I think it would seem a little.
It's not that people don't do
like juvenile to say my boyfriend Daniel, and maybe that's just me, but I use the term partner, but it apparently is not normal for her.
Weird. Well, that would be okay if he was used to her perhaps saying that. Now, to me too, I mean, if I had a like, I do not like saying boyfriend, especially when you get to a certain age. And I hate the word fiance. I hate that word. But anyways, I'm married. Okay. My husband's name's Steve Austin, $6 million man, 21 years younger than I am. Pretty woman story. Just saying. Okay. But anyways, so the reason why I'm saying that is that kind of goes back to Daniel's first post about like, I'd like to take her on like the first date to what we did type of idea. Right. And it just kind of reminded me of my husband there. He was like, I'm coming for you. He goes, I don't want anyone else to have you. And he said, I'm coming for you, Sonny. And I was like, oh my God, get across this pond. Thank you. We met playing RuneScape, by the way. So, and I totally just, if Daniel is watching this, totally can appreciate your Pokemon channel, by the way. My son has the Raiders deck there from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I remember this guy sitting beside me at the table at one of those flea markets. And me and my twin were selling our candles and whatever. And this guy had a huge ass assortment of Pokemon cards. I still have the Pokemon black and white bag from that day. That's my son's 28. He was about 5 when I bought him that. Yeah, still have it. Anyway, is there any more to put up there?
In a minute, I'll
Okay.
give you a couple right now, but I mean, there's one that I want to read, not share, because there's a piece on top of it that's just not for this platform yet. I mean, I'm sure it'll come out, but it's not going to be me that puts it out.
Okay. Is it because like it's not in a program where you cut out the part or whatever?
Correct. Yeah, this is literally just me and my screenshot fingers. So I'm not tech savvy. So anyways, Daniel also had said, because we're all wondering, like, have you... Sorry, what?
Am I putting that one up on the stage now, Charmaine?
Number 8, you can, but I'm going to just read a different one first that I'm not putting up.
Okay.
Because I was curious, like, has he tried to reach out to Malaya? Like, has anybody been able to talk to her?
Maybe so.
And he said no. Basically, long story short, his cousin called from a private number to try to reach out to her, but her mom answered the phone and she said, Malaya's phone, who is this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that told him right there that, like, her mom has the phone, at least for numbers that aren't recognized. So there is no reaching out to Malaya for Daniel or anybody else that I guess Cindy doesn't want to talk to Malaya.
So Malaya, if you ever come across, well, the thing is that, like I said, we can reach out, if the mom's controlling, or has the phone, I should say, then we can send a message, I suppose, eh? Malaya, want a first date again?
Absolutely. But who's
But
to
anyway.
say? Get it? I don't know. So more conversation, and I started to go into more of that day and what happened with the search. And he did say that the dogs went to the road and lost the scent. And then that's when I brought up, like, what I was talking about the other night. Like, could it be like that she wanted to go to school, she got dressed, she got ready, she grabbed her backpack and went out to the road? Is that possible? It just happened to be the wrong time and maybe somebody picked her up. And you can put the next one up. Sunny.
What? I'm trying to talk to Belynda. What's going on? What do you need me to do? Oh, is there another one?
Yeah. Number 9.
This one here?
Yeah. So he says there's more than meets the eye. No kids were marked absent the 6th, 17th, and 18th, or 6:18 a.m. by Malaya. And he has emails from the school to prove it. And like, I didn't need the proof. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that's been proven. So I said that's been proven. Just the dogs losing the scent and nothing in the woods makes me think they were possibly picked up, but by who? And fair question, right? To me. And then another one that I'm going to read instead of posting, that Daniel said he's not letting this blow over. He's going to do everything he can do for Jack and Lily. Malaya does no media. He's doing all the media for Lily and Jack because they need somebody to speak out. And he's going to continue to cause a stir anytime that this stops being covered in the media. He's going to do whatever he has to do to get it back in the media. So honestly, look for that. Like if things start dying out, he's not above leaking information to get it back in the media if that's what he has to do, is how he put it to me. By the end of this weekend, over 13,000 man hours of searching have been put into this. It's amazing. And then, just so you guys know, I'm going to give Sunny one to post, but...
Oh, let me make one correction. Belynda says about those photos that I was the one, I think, that said that. Belynda, if Charmaine did, she repeated it from me. That those photos were on Malaya's Facebook, and Malaya didn't send them to Belynda. But those photos, those 4 photos I showed, they were on the open Facebook, she said. So, and she has still not reached out to Belynda. So, just want to make that correction. Told you guys, if we get something wrong, just correct it, okay? That one wasn't a huge one, but meaning you don't want people thinking that Malaya is reaching out at this point to Belynda if she's not, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said to him, now I've heard that...
Halt, 1 second. Valley boy, don't know who you are. Don't know if you're a troll. Don't know truth about any of that on there. Maybe, you know what? I don't, well, unless you're going to say your real name. Anyways, don't know that, okay? But then again, I don't know who you are. So that could be false information, could be true information. I don't know. I don't know Daniel personally. I don't know his life. But I also know that people come in here and troll asses and say shit. So I know that as well. So I honestly don't know about that. So you guys, that's not fact that we know of on there. So unless you got receipts to send to the channel, you know, like that you personally know this type of idea and you have something to show that. Yeah. So I sorry, Charmaine, I just want to make sure. Is there anything else that Valley has said that is you guys? Or is this the first one? Let me put it this way, Valley. I got my eye on you. Okay. Okay. Just saying. Go ahead.
So I had said to Daniel that I'd heard that Malaya's mother had done an interview with Global and that it just hasn't aired yet. I wondered if he had heard that too. And Sonny, you could put the next one up.
Oh, Charmaine. Where are they all? Oh, I think, is it this one?
12.
It doesn't, oh, 12. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't believe that because I became good friends with reporters from Global, CTV, and CBC. They tell me they kick them out of the yard, and she tells them no media or questions must be asked through the lawyer. Which Leah does have a lawyer. Let me just see if I can find that one, because the lawyer is, there we go. Okay, I'll share this one. This is one of the ones that I wasn't sure of, but I'll share it anyway.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want anybody to be disappointed by the coverage. You can go ahead and pull that number 2 up.
Okay, 1 second here. I need to scroll down. Where'd it go? What number 2? Okay. Not
doing
okay.
media. They have a lawyer that is the chief's brother from the reserve she belongs to. Lily and Jack were granted as soon as the disappearance happened, but we were denied multiple times in the past. And Meadow was not granted status.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
It's next, but not in such a nice way. But yeah, it's strange.
Right. So she applies for it 3 times, gets denied, and then all of a sudden the children go missing. They're granted all of a sudden into the SIPNIC, or however you say it, and Meadow's not.
That's strange. And I mean, unless like maybe Belynda would know, like, is the biological father a pure blood, like a full blood native, and Malaya, because I don't think Daniel is, maybe, like, I don't know, you guys, but does that have something to do with it? Like, I don't know, maybe.
I'm not native, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You guys know? There's some people in here that speak out from Nova Scotia that are. Right. Is Daniel got any native in him? Do you know? I don't know.
I didn't ask. I mean, he doesn't look like it to me. I mean, you never know.
Hey, I've seen people whiter than me, and they are.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I am. I'm a quarter, and I'm pretty pale, and I have red hair. But I mean, it is what it is. Daniel also told me that there were 160 searchers through the day, but 60 at night. 3 helicopters during the day, and 8 drones day and night, and 10 dogs through those woods in that first initial, what was it, 5-6 day search. That's a lot. That's a huge amount of resources. And he said, he told me many times, he is telling the truth, but he can't comment on anything that will harm the investigation. One of the things that I kept asking him, and I was surprised that he kept talking to me but anyways, I wanted to know, just even a yes or no, if law enforcement had evidence that showed them abduction was ruled out. Like, did they completely rule abduction out? Because I remember hearing them say that one time, but I don't know if they've said it since, or if we're just kind of focusing and remembering that they said it one time. Like, are they?
The other day if I could say her name and
what?
I was talking to Siri. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
Oh.
I was talking to my iPad. My bad. Sorry.
No, like I said, I'm just wondering, because now they're looking for dash cam video from April 28th to May 2nd. So what? Are they just trying to verify the stories? Maybe. Or are they looking for something? Maybe. So, Sunshine, the lack of CTV in the area is a downfall. Any cars? Yeah. Yeah, but what are they looking for and why? And I asked Daniel like a few times today, have they completely ruled out abduction, or have they kind of circled back to that possibility? But I mean, again, they're putting all these resources into searching those woods. So it's so hard to understand. I'm sure this one, you guys might be interested in it, might not be, but I certainly was. This is about his support system. I felt like a dickhead at this point, because I'm reading everything that he's telling me, and I'm asking questions based on what he has said before, and not once did I think to ask him how he was doing. So I felt like kind of an asshole. But I did remember to ask him, and that's what this next one is. If Sunny's listening, you can put up 15.
Sorry. I was half listening. Not really. I'm lying. I wasn't listening really at all. What do you want me to do?
Put up 15, please.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He said, my support system is knowing the truth that what will make me feel positive, knowing that I'm doing the right thing. I know my problems. I don't need anyone to talk about them. I live them every day. This says my family is great too. They are the best. And then I cut it off because he's basically saying that his family is the only one that's been, the only family that's been out in the woods to look. So, and from what we know, fair enough. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about that morning. According to Daniel.
Okay, are you just talking or are you showing anything?
I am looking for it. I've got it on one screen and then I got to pop it up into my little share box. All right, so.
Number 16?
16, please.
Okay.
So we were all like, why wouldn't Daniel go and check with his mom first? Right? We all wondered that. Still, like this morning, I was wondering that. He said, my mom was napping and came outside because she heard me yelling that morning for the kids. Malaya was playing on her phone. His mom came out and said Malaya had a look of worry in her eyes, that his mom had been home. She didn't realize it. She wasn't scared. She didn't cry that the kids were gone. Just kind of a look of worry, and his mom felt like it was more of a she got caught for doing something wrong, more than a look of worry. That this is one of those things that I was on the fence about sharing or not because we could read too much into this. This is one woman's perspective that we've never heard from, right? So please, bucket of salt with this one. And then I kind of got mixed up with Daniel a little bit because I thought I read that one a little bit wrong. I thought he was saying, wait a minute, so Malaya was outside when you first found out the kids were missing? And he's like, no, stupid, listen. Anyway, you can put up 17, Sunny.
Thank you.
And I cut this one off too because I think we can all imagine what his reaction was to that question. Malaya asked me when noticed the kids were gone, should I call police? Yes, you should call police. Absolutely, call police. 18. Okay. 18, please, Sunny.
Okay. 18 is a little lower. I just want to reiterate. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for being a voice and speaking with Charmaine. I know that. Oh, did you take it down? Oh, wait, you're moving it around on me.
Sorry.
I went to go click it.
So again, he says even I don't know some things. So then I said, so she went outside first and then told you she couldn't find the kids? And he said, no, I ran through the house searching every room, then ran outside the back sliding door. It did everything so fast. She said they're gone when they were both outside together. And then that's the point where she said, like, they're gone. What do I do? Should I call police? And he said, of course, you should call the police. Call the police. And then he jumped in the vehicle and went searching. So, and then, well,
now don't someone go one second. Now don't you people go saying that somehow that we created this post for Daniel Martell and stuff like that, okay? We don't play those type of games at all. So you guys can go to his Facebook. You know what it looks like. So just let's just keep it real. I hate that crap. Well, how do I know it's true? Well, you know what? Go
Well,
do
you
your own.
don't. And I mean, I honestly, I don't care if you believe this is authentic or not. If you think that I've got the time and a day to fake a whole frigging conversation that took me all day and then
Right?
stressing out about taking screenshots and presenting it to you, if you think that's fake, see, I mean, I don't even care. Do you?
Yeah.
If
Right.
I got
Okay.
that time in a
Good
day,
thing.
I would be a lucky person. My God.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know who said that, but come on. Come
No one
on.
said it. I'm just saying it because, well, hold on. That's not true. It's only the reason why I was saying it was because Deception Detective had said that Daphne Ann Sullivan's, like I said, we put that information out, right? So that's why I
Right.
just want it to be known Daphne Ann Sullivan is the aunt to this. But because he didn't have his proper information, right? He was like, well, maybe, and then he said, well, Michelle After Dark, send me the link if you have it and stuff like. But the thing is, I already knew that Daphne was a relation because I had already done looked into it right from the get-go and stuff like that. And she had made a post about that's her brother's that her brother is the grandbaby's granddad to those babies, Lily and Jack and stuff like that. So I'm just saying on there, just as a human being, just people do their due diligence, but you don't have to believe any of this if you don't want to.
That's
that
right.
part. Yeah, that's all
I
I'm saying.
barely had time to do the screenshots, let alone fake an entire conversation. And why would I? Why would people do stuff like that? But please trust me that I didn't. And any of the big channels, if they're gonna put me on blast on there, fuck you.
Yeah.
Honestly, seriously,
And
go fuck yourselves.
okay. Now the thing is that truly I'm not trying to put a Deception Detective on blast on it, but there's a lot of channels I do not watch because I do not like their content. Deception Detective, I think it was during Sebastian's case is when he covered it or whatever. But because we're intently covering this case and stuff like that, like I said, so it's like because we watch him, right? And because we've always respected his videos and stuff like that. And so, yes, if there's information to correct and stuff like that, just again, put it out there that it is factual because bigger channels have a bigger voice and it makes a difference about what you're putting out there, right? So just kind of like what we do, and I would expect other channels to as well, that if something's wrong, then correct it. So apparently, by the way, I said, I don't believe her. I still don't believe Belynda. I'm pretty sure I said Chelsea. But this one girl accused me of saying RSMP. And she's like, I'm from British Columbia, which I'm from. And I said, she goes, and you keep saying RSMP. And it's almost like she's like, and I don't get why you're saying that. I went back and listened to the entire live or video. Actually, it was the video I put out. And I said RCMP. I'm like, what are you hearing? So I said to Belynda, are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure I said Chelsea. So just for my own self purposes now, I've got to go back and listen. But anyways, Chelsea is her daughter, Chelsea Gray. Okay. Just saying. That was it.
I don't remember where I was, but
No,
anyways.
yeah, I think you were telling someone to F off or something. That's what it sounded like to me.
That was just a
Okay.
whatever. That was just a
That
menopause.
was a rant.
That was a moment. I had a moment. So
Hi, Valerie.
I had asked because we're always wondering and we're always saying, well, they must be doing it all the time. If they were comfortable enough to just leave this day, they must have done it all the time. But according to Daniel here, he said no, they only ever left the yard with him. Malia rarely even went outside with these kids. She was always in with the baby. So I guess that's not a normal thing for them to do. And I believe there's one more there for you to share, Sunny.
Okay. And yet, it's not like Charmaine, had this was a conversation between now and the live. So for instance, someone's asking about where their bedroom is located in reference in that trailer there. I'm sure it's something that Daniel's not willing to hide. But the thing is, this wasn't one of those things where we had it all, whatever. But there's certainly things I'm sure that can be asked, right? Because honestly, is it going to harm? But he can dictate to that. But just meaning, again, there's probably things that a lot of people are asking in the chat right now that simply don't have answers to because again, there's only so much time in Charmaine's day here, and she was working on her house. So just know that, okay, guys? We didn't have like, here's 100 questions or something like that.
This was not a
It was just
planned.
an organic conversation.
It was barely a planned conversation. Like I said, I reached out to him just to let him know that he has support out there through all the negative bullshit. He does have people who believe in him out there. Stay strong. That's literally all it was. I wasn't expecting a response, and to have this conversation with him that went on for most of my day. I mean, it was
so
unexpected.
Tell me, I think the question to Daniel will be, Daniel, why did you ignore Sunny's message that she sent you first, and he was more drawn to you?
He told me that he gets requests from huge YouTube channels all the time.
Yeah.
And he's declining them all because media they have, like, I don't even know if it's like a law or a mandate or whatever, but they have an ethical standard that they have to abide by. YouTube doesn't. Like, yes, there's words we can't say and blah, 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 stuff like that, but it's not the same standard as mainstream media. So he'll talk to mainstream media all day, every day, when he's not out searching every single day. And people say, well, why is he in front of the camera and he's not searching? And why wasn't he out searching that day or this day? The days that he's not out in the woods searching, it's because he's not allowed in the woods searching because the police are doing their thing out there. Anytime that he's able, he is out there searching. Does he sleep? Does he bathe? Does he wash his clothes? Yes, yes, yes. He is a normal person trying to live his life looking for Jack and Lily. And he never says their names. I bet you he said their names to me about 150 times today.
He said, like, Malaya didn't say the names in her interview at all. He said it. I don't know. I know one for sure. Maybe even more than that, to be honest. I'd have to go back and look for that at the end of the day. I was going to say something to that, but I forget now. So go ahead. Carry on.
I've got one more here, and then I think what I'll do is, because like I said, it was most of the day conversation, so there is information and there might be answers to the little things that I'm not thinking of or that I'm not posting, so people can ask their questions. And if he told me, I'll tell you. If he didn't, I'll tell you that he didn't tell me that. But if you want to put 20 up, we can wrap this receipts part up. Like these screenshots are simply to give you guys something to grab and take and study and to see his words, I guess.
Well, they're called receipts because people always want to see your receipts. And at the end of the day, you don't see this channel, honestly. Again, if people want to use content from this channel, I want to say this first. If people want to use content from this channel, as long as you use it and like not use it for evilness, go right ahead. Won't copyright strike you, won't nothing. I don't sit there and splash our name across stuff, hardly ever. For like these, like some people splash their name everywhere because they, want it for their channel sake or, I don't have the time of day to waste myself time doing that. I want you guys to take it. I want you guys to show it, but at least if you do, give credit to the channel where it's due. Okay, that's all I ask. That's all we like to do is give credit whenever we use someone's channel, their YouTube channel, to show stuff. And I do want to say one thing I do appreciate is that no one so far, Plunder doesn't copyright strike. I don't think Deception Detective copyright strikes. Clutch Some Pearls doesn't copy. Everyone, that's what it should be like, to be honest with you. To me, it's just greed if you copyright strike on there. Meaning, are you here for the awareness? Thank you so much, Sylvie. Thank you for becoming a new member. But to me, when you live in the true crime world, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, are we here for greed or are we here for the awareness, right? So is your ego so thick that you need to copyright strike people, right? So I'm like, there's really good channels, even if I don't watch it, nobody actually, besides the murder shits, there for Delphi, they'll copyright strike anyone, Mr. Lawyer, Mrs. Journalist. because they're dicks. But anyways, but nobody copyright strikes each other. We just keep using each other's information and passing it on. So I just want to say I appreciate whether it's Dolly Vision, Clutch Some Pearls, Michelle After Dark, who else? Doesn't matter. Jennifer Coffinduffer doesn't copyright. Again, you're just trying to put out information there. So we're not sitting here trying to go, ooh, we own that. But no, but just give credit when you're using other people's content like we do as well. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So I respect that in people because it's about the murdered and the missing.
So the end of our conversation, because remember there was an active search going on in the woods today as well. So at some point he left and went offline. And this was at that point. And there were a few other questions that I asked him. I don't know if he'll get back to me on them. This could be it with my contact with Daniel. But and he agrees to leave their boots and nothing be found. Like if they were out in the woods and they fell somewhere, they would have found something. So he's also having a really hard time. But again, there's nothing else for him to do but to keep searching those woods for any sign. So I'll leave the screenshots at that for now.
This question here is correct. He loves her. Other than that, we're not going to say anything else about that. Don't know. Maybe
we can pull that message to Malaya back up and leave that on the screen for until we can.
Absolutely. And Paul, chilling Netflix, dude. Paul's like, get to it. Unless you're running the channel yourself, we'll get to it when we get to it. You got a free membership today out of it. Chilling Netflix, dude. I mean, I want to say this though. I totally hope that Daniel lets you know, because again, that we respected the wishes. Again, we're not here to try to gain notoriety per se. It's truly about facts and awareness. Okay, guys. Anyone that wants to think differently on that one, well, you can. I just don't care. Don't give a crap whatsoever, to be honest with you, because we know that what he's saying is either his thinking, what happened and stuff like that, and his perception and stuff. And and Malaya's might be totally different, but you don't see her speaking out, doing interviews. And I honestly, I want to say this. I don't know where people's heads are when they say something like that. If your child, whether you're the stepfather or whether you're the mother, you want to be in front of that camera as much as you can. Some people to say that it's odd, like, how come you're not searching? Why are you in front of a camera? 2 + 2. Because you want them to be out there. In order to keep a case out there, right? Like, you want them talking. You want, it doesn't make sense that someone would say, like, why is he doing so many interviews?
Yeah, why is he always talking? Why isn't he out searching? And then I've heard people say, like, why is his shirt so clean? And you know what I mean? But it's so you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if he wasn't talking, what is he hiding? Why is he not talking? Why is nobody talking? Or if he looked messy or unkept, oh, look at the way he dresses. He's a piece of shit. Do you know what I mean? So to be honest with you, he's not paying attention to all of that because he's focused on his family right now. He's trying to understand and figure out a way to help Malaya through whatever she's going through right now. And he's trying to find his kids. And help the RCMP any way that he can. Keep awareness out there. I mean, what else can we ask him to do? Honestly.
I was going to say, so Paul, so you're obviously under the impression that he's trying to make himself not look guilty. And you can have that opinion. I totally disagree with you.
But there are bigger channels he could have gone to.
Absolutely. But I totally disagree with you. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I like to always try to do my homework with stuff, right? And perception. So I have went to his Pokemon channel so I could hear his voice, how he talks. I went to his Facebook page. I seen he has his other children with his, ex prior to that. And almost every picture I see him holding one of the children in there. I've listened to his interviews. I've watched the word that he says. Maybe it's because I don't want to say this, but I might. Maybe it's because you're not an empathic female, perhaps. And so I look at all that stuff. I read between those lines. And so when I see someone that has a soft voice, they're not coming off like they're controlling. He never came. I mean, he might have a problem looking into the camera. I know that the sun sometimes gets in there, but he kind of looks down a lot. But the thing is that when you're looking at the whole picture of him, and I'm just saying my feelings on this, because obviously I'm up here and you're in the chat, but I'm just saying, so all those things I look for, okay? Just like my husband, right? I look for someone that gave me his time, and I looked at everything. I read between the lines. I have an amazing husband. Why? Because I'm a good picker. Well, let me put it this way. The other one, no, actually, I won't get into that part. But anyways, bottom line is, I seen all these characteristics of Daniel, and they weren't matching up with this person that was being dishonest. Maybe I felt like they fabricated the timeline because it's very inconsistent about 8:00, 8:30, and then 9:40, and then 10:00, right? So I thought,
just
okay,
wait a second, because he did. Didn't I send you that stuff?
what?
Um,
What stuff?
when we were talking about the timeline, and at first he said he couldn't really talk about it, but then he did. Didn't I send you those?
Did you put them up? Sorry, I was talking to Belynda a little bit there. So, because I have all day to look at the stuff, yeah. But I feel like there was something about that, but I didn't realize that he's did. All I know, well, unless you want to repeat it. It was near the start, or no, maybe about 6 or 7 or 8 in.
He said, I can't really go into, because timelines are part of that investigation. And then I said, okay, but even yes or no, if what is reported out there is not accurate, even if we can't know what it actually is, if it's untrue, we can at least let people know to stop focusing on it, if that makes sense. And I said, okay. And then he said, Malaya's time of 10 a.m. is false, and we can leave it at that. And I said, okay, fair enough.
Well, right. And at the end of the day, thing is that it's already out there. So there's nothing to really hide about that, to be honest. It's on the dispatch audio when they say 8:00, and then they about I think about the 10:00 as well. I think the first time they talked about it was at 10:44. Anyways, between posts what Daniel said in interviews and about time and whatever, 20 minutes looking or whatever it was before called. So it's already been talked about, that stuff. It was just a matter of trying to put it into perspective, instead of it kind of being like, well, why did the audio or the dispatch say this? Why does this post from family member? Why is in the interview this is said by Daniel or whatever? And so it's just trying to put that into perspective. So it's not like that information's not out there. It's just trying to make sense of it properly, because it seems a little bit jumbled, right? That's all.
Yeah.
So,
well, he wasn't interested in talking about it. So
yeah, we would never want to do anything that would ever interfere with the investigation by putting out that information at all. So if that's how he feels, then that's simply how he feels, right? But we would never want to put out information for the sake of what, greed or dishonesty and stuff like that. No, that would be wrong. But this information,
I was just kind of scrolling up to see if there were any questions that that I could go through and answer.
Okay. If anybody wants to put a
There's
few questions in there, then yeah, then put
there's
it
a
in.
number of people that asked if he thinks Malaya has done something with the kids,
Oh,
and what I can tell you is we did talk about that, and no, he doesn't think Malaya has done anything with the kids. He is not pointing the blame at Malaya whatsoever. He worries about what Malaya is having to go through by herself now. And that's what I'll say about that. And I know it might be a little bit cryptic, but take what you will out of it.
Right.
And then about did he mention anything about the bus stop? Not specifically, Vanessa, but he did adamantly tell me that bus driver has nothing to do with it. He believes him wholeheartedly. They are friends of the family. The brother of the bus driver isn't in the province and hasn't been for a certain amount of time, so he's not connected. And he said that there's no way that the bus driver has anything to do with this disappearance. So he truly believes that. End of the driveway again, yeah. Mental illness on Malaya's side of the family. To me, it sounds like that's quite possible with depression, anxiety, possibly maybe a history of abuse, generational history of abuse could be playing into some of the decisions that have been made and some of the oddities that we've witnessed. He is promoting Malaya. He is, in my mind, my read of him today, talking to him for hours, he wishes he could protect her, but he can't even in a roundabout way try to contact her because he's tried. So that's what I got it. That's what I got from it. And the hairdresser claim, I would just like to point out, these kids were not abducted with their passports. They're not in the States getting their hair cut in New York. It's not true. Malaya's mom obviously has it in for Daniel. Too bad Malaya can't maintain a united front. And look, we don't know all the ins and outs of that relationship. It's probably strained. I'm not going to get into it, but it's probably strained. But when Malaya is probably doing what she thinks is best for Meadow right now. Right.
And I'm talking. Sorry, my bad. Daniel said, like I said, I always believe that if it comes out of the horse's mouth. So in the interview, he said that he wanted to take a polygraph test, drug test, and the reason why, well, all the people that are accusing him with crazy crap on YouTube land or whatever, but he also said that Malaya's family, not Malaya, but Malaya's family is accusing him of having something to do with it. He's right. So those words are in the interview. We all know that they came out. So right. So that's not something that we can't say because it's clearly he said it on that interview. So what does Malaya's mom have against Daniel? Who knows, right? We don't know what transpired that day, but it's again, maybe at that information is not our place to say regardless, but we simply know what was said by that. So obviously, if her family's accusing him, there's something to that. I mean, that doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that, obviously. But yeah, I hope Daniel feels, if he is watching this, maybe he is right now, maybe he's not. I hope he feels like we did him well and did what we promised to do. Again, me and you We believe Daniel wholeheartedly. A lot of people in chat do. Some people still don't. Again, I'm not here to go into your brain and decide what you have to think. This is just putting it out there. And, you know, bottom line is, I know sincerity when I see it. I'm just glad that, you know, realizing certain things, obviously, and him taking a lie detector test that he told CBC News. The wording of that was is that he passed the test, they said, and that people can stop pointing fingers at him now. But there's going to be a lot of people going, wow. You know, RCMP said that they're not going to put that out there, right? And it's too bad, to be honest with you, because it means a lot more when it's coming from RCMP to say that. I don't know why they don't do stuff like that, to be honest with you. They did it in the Idaho case, you know, and everyone kept saying that it was boyfriend and Jack and the other Jack and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like I said, the gut was always towards Daniel. And there's nothing that I've personally seen, like looking at everything. There's nothing I've personally seen that made me feel like he was this bad, violent person at all. Everything showed me otherwise. Any man that likes Pokemon at their age, you know, and has kids in their hands all the time and like tons of pictures, you know, it says a lot about a human being to me. So, anyways, that's whatever your thoughts still are on this case. That's totally up to you. But I'm just very thankful again to Belynda, to Daphne, to Chelsea, Belynda, and Belynda for just either just not even talking to us, but just being voices for Lily and Jack. You know, because it counts, it matters.
I also want to say that I have good reason to believe that Malaya didn't initially want to leave. She wanted to stay and help search. So I'll leave that with you too, and that's where I'll end it.
Well,
for my own part, whatever else you were going to cover, go ahead.
I mean, we have reiterated so many times between Belynda's messages that it is information that is said to her, type of thing, you know, whether it was Malaya originally through the timeline of the post that was Belynda put up right at the start of the when the children went missing and stuff like that. But we've been very clear that, again, it's not like, you know, Belynda really hasn't been in the children's lives besides seeing pictures on Facebooks in a couple of years, right? That she said she spoke with Daniel. She was at the search or something like that, the 3rd, 5th, and the 18th, and stuff like that. Again, we've been very clear that it's the best information that you guys can get, but still that it's coming from another party. So whether you believed Daniel or not, or those messages, totally up to you guys. You know, all I know, me personally, I'm just here to bring awareness to this case, first and foremost, for Lily and Jack. That's always the thing. And second reason is I like trying to figure out puzzle pieces when something seems weird. Like the more information you have, the more of a, you know, better, what's the word I'm looking for, Sherman? Better choice, you know, that's not the word. You know, better, can't think of the stupid word all of a sudden. But anyways, more of a sound decision in a sense. But that's not the word. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
I thought Daniel's mom told the Facebook searchers to leave the property. So one thing that I didn't mention was that Malaya's mom showed up relatively quickly after the RCMP arrived. And Daniel's mom eventually asked her to leave. From what I understand.
Because because this is I'm not sure if he said it, but this is Daniel's mom's property,
Yes.
right?
Do you guys think the parents will be charged with negligence regardless of the outcome? Probably not.
Depends what the outcome is. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you at all. I mean, if the children were unsupervised, obviously that's not good. But we don't know the whole story there. So I don't know. That part, the stuff like that part, who knows? I don't know. I don't know anything about CPS stuff, and that's not my forte. But I mean, I guess that would be if there was negligence. But I don't know, Charmaine. You know more about this stuff than I would. If the children got out, because we all know, like, what I'm saying here is that there's children that get out and end up dead in a pool, okay, because the mother turned around, type of thing, right? There's people that have been charged and have not been charged, in a sense. So I guess I don't really know what the law is for all that stuff myself. That's not even anything.
I mean, it would depend on all of the collateral information, because if you, I mean, parents fall asleep and have naps all the time, and that's not exactly negligent. So there would have to be a lot of supporting information to support criminal charges like that, I would think. But
correct, right?
I mean, who knows, though? The focus right now is just finding Lily and Jack, and then from there,
I was going to say,
these people can work on getting their lives back together.
It's just a sad case. It really is. I mean, look at these little beautiful faces.
Depends on the means, right, Angie? It depends if just say they're found in the woods, remain found in the woods. That's, again, that doesn't necessarily mean negligence. It depends on the information and all of the information that we don't know, right? Like, when did you fall back asleep? When was the last time you seen them? And if it was really this small window of time, can you, in a court of law, prove negligence out of that short window of time based on all the evidence and all the information that we don't have? You know what I mean? So, yeah, it could definitely lead to charges, but it could also not. So there's no way to know.
Time is it? 1:44. Let's just do 10 more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. It's fair enough.
Okay.
Keep it underneath that. Let's see, I don't know. Like I said, we're just not going to be getting into stuff that we're not supposed to get into at all. And some stuff we just simply don't even know, because, again, it was just a conversation that it wasn't meant to be a conversation. But we just, honestly, bottom line is, it was just to get some whatever, truth out there, at least, again. So basically, to me, again, if someone puts something out, so if Daniel says that he passed the polygraph test, but in his case, on the actual interview, he said, let's just say it was in my favor, right? You would look like a horse's ass, honestly, if you literally said that, and the RCMP watch your interviews, right? You'd look like a total fool. Just like any of this information. He says, sometimes the truth hurts. Absolutely, right? So are you going to sit there and willingly put out stuff or say stuff that he's letting be said for truth purposes, in a sense, or at least to have an idea of the actual situation somewhat, so you can have more clarification? He owes us nothing. We know this, okay? Belynda owes us nothing and stuff like that when it comes to information. But obviously, right, to try to set facts straight, we know darn well that you could shove facts in somebody's face and they won't believe you regardless or whatever. And when I say facts, I still want to say that doesn't mean it's always true what's said, or, because always there's two sides to a coin and stuff like that, right? But it's the closest to the facts as possible, kind of like the Sebastian Rogers case. So Katie was the last one to see Sebastian. So the only timeline that we have to go by is Katie's, right? Christopher Proudfoot wasn't even in town. So we have to go by Katie's. But what if Katie's lying? We don't know, right? But it's the only thing that we have to go by. Because, of course, the police aren't going to tell us. They're not going to give us anything they don't want us to know. So I just like all the information, compact it to what I actually think happened, because there's only so many scenarios, right? I just truly hope that Jack and Lily, are still alive somewhere. That would be amazing if this case turns out like that. Even though we know that the odds are different. These cases suck. I'll just put it that way. They suck. Sebastian Rogers' case sucks. All these parents that murder their kids, like Harmony Montgomery and stuff like that, they suck.
No,
like,
Crochet, Daniel does not think that Malaya is involved.
I think a few people have asked that. Yeah, but I think Charmaine
okay, he didn't say he wasn't running faster than the helicopters. He was ahead of the helicopters, meaning
that was the word.
If he was McCutcheon, is that how you say your name? So maybe you're from the East Coast, but just the way they talk, he was ahead of them. He wasn't running faster than them. He was there before them. And it was streams and sometimes waist-deep water. He was, tripping and slipping on wet rocks and stuff. Like, he told me the whole story. It came out and was clipped in the news, absolutely. But yes, just kind of the way they talk. He wasn't running faster than the helicopters. He was in the woods before the helicopters arrived.
I'm pretty sure his name's not Steve Austin, the Bionic Man.
Lie to the public like the police can. No, they're not going to do that stuff. The RCMP here have no problem leaving the public hanging. Absolutely no problem. They'll say nothing before they'll tell you a lie. And there's no need to read between the lines in a police interview, because they're not playing word games with the public. They're just not. They're saying their words very carefully. They're choosing their words very carefully, and they're putting out the information that they want out there in order to gain or to obtain more information from the public. This is different than the States. They're not trying to they're not planning press conferences to pressure suspects out of the woods. Not in this particular situation. I'm sure it's happened, but I truly don't believe that that's what's going on here. The RCMP has absolutely no interest in appeasing the public. They have an interest in finding Lily and Jack and what happened to them.
Support with stuff, I think that needs to be corrected, because a lot of people were saying that. Belynda said that when she talked to the reporters for Global News, that Daniel's brother lives up the road on a different property, because they had already interviewed him, and that and again, if there's any correction that needs to be made, but Belynda had said that they were basically interviewing the family members and Malaya's mom, and that Justin lives up the road on a different property and doesn't actually live on the property that Daniel's mom does, and in the camper or whatever there. But a lot of people were saying that. So that the brother
Paul Richardson, that is a really good example about how little the RCMP care about what the public thinks. We are on a need-to-know basis, And a lot of times our need to know is a minute or two too late, if you get my drift. Especially in that situation, they were doing an investigation, but nobody in the public knew really what was going on, other than rumors on the streets and stuff that they heard on Facebook and stuff, until the RCMP decided that the public was in danger and they needed to start updating them regularly, right? That's the thing. It just happened again 2 weeks ago, really. Did that one go on a rampage as well? I didn't hear about that.
That's right, Steffa.
You'd think they would have learned the first time, because that was terrible what happened there.
Where?
And I mean, who's to say who's right? Yes, the RCMP in situations like that, they need to be more on the ball with updating the public for sure. But in a case like this, is it imperative that the public have more information? Like, do they need to send somebody out every day for a daily presser? Is it necessary to catch or to find the kids? Maybe if they really believe that they were abducted and they're out there alive somewhere, perhaps there would be an argument there, but I don't think they think that. And they might be wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't watch Crow's Nest Psychic Mara. There's only a couple people that I actually really care to watch. One is Aphrodite, Reverend Donna Serafina, Psychic Sleuth. Sometimes depends if we're following the same case. Trish James. I don't really watch a lot of them, to be honest with you, because most of them are simply full of shit. They're trying. They think that they're good. But putting out misinformation, like a pink boot underneath of a couch or whatever and stuff like that, telling this exact time of whatever. Anyways, I just take it all with a grain of salt. But there's some people that are actually have credibility to them, but I don't watch her in particular. I've seen that, but I mean, God, there's like freaking about 150 freaking psychics, mediums, tarot card readers, doing this case, and it's all over the map. Yeah.
So yeah, the U.S. system where these officials are elected, it blows my mind. Judges and shit, like, that blows my mind in regards to how fair is it and how impartial is it. It leans more towards appeasing the public. And then also to Vanessa, and there's been a few other people that were wondering this over the last few lives about how our policing works in Canada. We have federal police, the RCMP, and they've got their counties, I guess, but they have jurisdiction across the country, sort of like the FBI in the States. And then we also have our municipal police, so our city police forces. Ontario has the Ontario Provincial Police Service, so they've got jurisdiction from border to border in Ontario. I believe Quebec also has one, and then we also have county sheriffs as well, who kind of work alongside with the RCMP, but they're more rural. And then there's also the First Nations police departments as well, and they're all understaffed and they're all underfunded. But there are a lot of people that think that they should be defunded because they don't do anything for us, which I don't agree with. I support law enforcement. I do. But yeah, that's kind of how Canadian law enforcement is set up. And then, of course, we have our Governor General. And
I'm in Ontario, born in Newfoundland. Ding! I was born in Vancouver, BC, on there. Anyways, shout out to everyone, whether you're Canadian or whether you're across the pond or whether you're United States and stuff like that. Again, it's always about caring, guys. Doesn't matter where you're from and stuff like that. But obviously, being Canadian, this case, of course, well, it hit nationally, to be honest with you. So not too many Canadian cases do that. this case, I remember watching it for a few days before we actually did a live on it. And then it was like, I couldn't believe, like, who was it? Ikmal was covering it. What's his name? Shoot, drawing a blank. You know, the guy that you said you watch all the day, all the time lately? Pascal. I mean, Grizzly True Crime, Dolly Vision, JLR. Like, it was just being covered everywhere, guys. And thank you, to be honest. Thank you. Depending on what reasons you're in it for, it still brings awareness to the case and it keeps it out there. I mean, this channel just tries to stick with the facts of the case, and look at the timeline and look at everything like that. Again, don't try to put stuff in there where it doesn't warrant it, or there's no receipts to even back it up. Not when it comes to a timeline, and that speculation about stuff is different. But anyways, at the end of the day, you just simply want awareness and it to be out there regardless, and that's all we're trying to do, really, just be a voice. And I'm so glad again that Belynda, messaged me that Daniel's talking to Charmaine and, has told her some stuff and that we could provide you with some information. Again, if you're a creator, feel free to use whatever information from this live. Don't copyright strike unless you use it for evil intentions. But only one person has, and that was in the Delphi case. And then he basically threatened me to take down my copyright. And I was like, yeah, dude, nope. He ended up losing his channel at the end of the day. But that was because he was just a bad person with bad intentions. So other than that, it's the only time I've ever copyright strike someone, because he did it for evil purposes, to make fun of me, basically, instead of using the content for good purposes. But anyways, so appreciate the people that don't copyright strike either, and that we just care about cases, put information out there. So just always give a channel the shout out, wherever you get that information from. So I appreciate Deception Detective, Michelle After Dark, Dolly Vision, JLR. I appreciate Clutch Them Pearls. It's on the tip of my tongue. Drunk Turkey Show, even though they're not covering this case, but Crime Scene of Courtroom 2. Just some really great channels. If I miss anyone and I'm not saying it properly, I'm sorry. There was that one lady, Sadie. We'd used some of her stuff. She was talking about she's like some sort of body language, or kind of like what Deception Detective does. But anyways, yeah. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. I think Charmaine, I'm gonna on the outro in a second. I'm not gonna play the outro as much as I'm gonna play the video for Jack and Lily again, the awareness video. I will put it out as a single thing, so hopefully you guys can just share it around, and show it. It's for Jack and Lily. It's for the awareness. Tribute awareness videos really don't get the attention they ever get. So sometimes I get a little bit upset because, if people kind of want to be so concerned about a case, why is it those awareness videos don't get much attention? People like drama. I know that, but so hopefully when I do put it out, you guys just, help a family out, right? Help families out. And I'm so glad that girl was found in Newfoundland. I knew what was going to happen. I didn't feel anything sinister there. So I'm so glad that it was reported. I think her name was like Adeline Skinner or something like that. Skinner.
Yes.
Out of Newfoundland there. So blessed for that. And prayers for Dylan Ehler there, that hopefully some answers come to the family with some possibly looks like newfound information. And prayers to Sebastian Rogers and Seth Rogers, his biological father, that has since day one just been out there spreading awareness. So Daniel, don't stop spreading awareness. Belynda, same thing. Right? But since Daniel's in front of the camera all the time, it's the best place to be. You want people to keep the case, depending on how long this case goes, hopefully it doesn't go too long. Hopefully there's some answers. But at the end of the day, like Dylan Round's mom and parents, you just got to always be out there talking, you know, just to keep it out there to the public. Public likes drip drops. We like voices, especially from the family. You know, it makes a huge difference on keeping a story out there for sure. Seth Rogers, he's always out there for Sebastian, his son. So prayers to that, you guys. So is there anything that you specifically wanted to say, Charmaine, before we head off here?
No, just, like I said at the very beginning, if you are going to use this content, be kind, not only to me, but to Daniel. He didn't have to talk to me. He didn't have to respond to my message. He has to live with this every single day. And he has children that will see this stuff. And there's no evidence that he's done anything nefarious. So
I don't
please
see it.
try to keep things respectful and try to
use
put yourself in these people's shoes, because we have no idea what was going on that day. Mm-hmm. We have a little more of an idea today, but be kind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, so the last thing on this, you guys, would be again, thank you to Belynda, Chelsea, Daphne, Daniel. Thank you guys for being a voice. Thank you for allowing us to be a voice for you as well. As for Jack and Lily, again, I'll put that video out separately. Apparently, I think I might have spelled Chelsea's. What?
Don't forget the vigil.
The vigil. Right.
And I did ask Daniel if he was planning on attending, and that was one of the questions I asked after he went offline. Okay. But vigil on Monday, and
it's I'll put it up here because it's not the picture I wanted to show, but it's when I had to take it. I had to take two separate ones. But the candle vigil for Lily and Jack, Monday, June 2nd at 2025, of course, this year at 4:30 p.m. PDT time.
And it will be streamed online. So it'll be
now, are we allowed to stream it? Did you ask?
They haven't got back to me about streaming it through our channel, but it is being streamed on the Facebook page. And
we'll stream it from the Facebook page. That's no problem then.
Yeah, I will.
It's at 4:30. Oh no, I'm off at 2. Yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah, I work 6 to 2. Besides my one agent switching me shifts on Thursday. Other than that, I'm 6 to 2 this week. Yeah. So
Rena, we should be able to stream it here.
Yeah.
On this channel. So.
Yeah, we'll do that, of course. Yep. I feel like I was going to say something else. Oh, let me just do this quickly, actually. I'll be frank. Thank you for gifting It's a Crime and Shame membership earlier, and Paul got that. Miss Dog Lover, longtime friend of the channel. Been around for, 35 months. Be kind. I honestly believe in karma. And Sylvie Montpetit, new member. Thank you for doing that. And again, thank you, Brenda, for that $100 donation that you sent to my bank account, actually. And Belynda, Brenda. Did I say Belynda or Brenda? If I said Belynda, I meant to say Brenda on that one. Tired. It's been a minute. I've been up. I went to bed at 5 o'clock as I started working on the tribute video, 5 a.m. Right? Then I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to go to bed or else, I got a good portion of it done. Honestly, I make these things always usually more time consuming. I don't like it has to sit right with me, right? So that's why these things take me 6 hours to do a 2.5 minute video, because I have to go gather, do everything, put the song properly. Thank you to Gregory Crane for that song, that beautiful song that you wrote for Jack and Lily. Thank you for being that caring person that actually sat down and wrote a song. You know what's funny is my husband, when I said, husband, do you want to watch my video quickly? And he's like, how long is it? And I was like, 2.5 minutes. He's like, sure, okay, right? And asked me how long it was. So, anyways, so the song starts playing, and at first I could tell by his face, he's like, like, what's this? And then within 30 seconds, he goes, that guy's pretty good. I mean, he's got his British accent, but I know that this, I believe, is a Newfie accent. But anyways, but yeah, it's just so sweet. And so, I just wanted to appreciate what he did for Jack and Lily and use that song in the video clip. So hopefully, like I said, that you guys appreciate that part too. I love it when unselfish things are done, and it's done out of love and care. So anyway,
it's a very East Coast thing to do.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see here. I think it is here. Okay, so with that being said, you guys, I'm just going to play that out. You guys all have a great night. Thank you for joining us today. Hit that like and the share. And yeah, and be kind and blessed. Thank you so much. Prayers for Jack and Lily.
A little girl and a boy went missing one day. It was on Friday morning, the 2nd of May. People went searching in the woods there outside for 2 little children named Lily and Jack. The girl was just 6 years, the boy he was 4. While others were sleeping, they walked out the door. As time it went by and turned into day, no sign of those children, the news it did say. Where's Lily and Jack? Where can they be? So sad and heartbreaking for each family. Not a trace or a sound from Lily or Jack, who walked out the door and they never came back. Lansdowne Station, it was their home. In Nova Scotia, there they did roam. Let's not forget them and let us pray for those 2 little children still missing today. Where's Lily and Jack? Where can they be? So sad and heartbreaking for each family. Not a trace or a sound from Lily or Jack, who walked out the door and they never came back. Who walked out the door and